Hello there! Today I am here with special guest Marie Lu, author of The Young Elites and the sequel, The Rose Society, which hits shelves today. We actually met in 2012 at, I think it was the Breathless Reads Tour.
Yes, it was.
Is that right?
Oh
I just showed her a photo of us when we met, and so I put it next to ours. We've been through a lot.
We have, I know, I can't believe it's been that long.
One of us is now a best-selling author, and the other one of us discovered hair gel.
And it looks amazing.
Thank you. Well, I didn't say which one of us did what.
Oh.
Your hair looks great too.
Oh, well, thank you.
When you went into the Young Elite series following Legend, what did you want your readers to get out of it?
It was challenging thinking about what I would write afterwards.
Sure.
For a while, I thought I was just going to write another hero story, but set in the fantasy world. And so I had actually written like an old version of the Young Elites that was told from the point of view of a hero who was defeating Adelina as the villain.
Right.
And I didn't like it at all. It was awful. I decided to switch it around after my agent suggested just making Adelina the main character. And so turning the story into like a villain's origin story. So that's kind of what I wanted to give readers the second time around. I thought it would be interesting to spin that around. Since Day and June were obviously heroes in their worlds, I wanted to tell a story from the villain's point of view and what the story would be like from their perspective. And hopefully that's interesting for readers to see. Like,
it is, absolutely. The fact that this series started in your first complete draft is something completely different that was a different perspective even.
Thank you.
I mean, completely.
Thank you.
Were you nervous starting a new series after all of the success of Legend, or were you sort of like, okay, that was fun, let's move on?
I was totally nervous. I was nervous for like several different reasons. One was just because, it's hard to follow up another series, to follow up your first series with another one, and I didn't know if my readers were going to like it, if they wanted me to go back to the Legend series instead. And the fact that telling the story from Adelina's point of view was very uncomfortable too. I wasn't sure if people wanted to follow the story of an anti-hero.
I would imagine that it would be very unsettling. I mean, getting in that dark mindset, like how do you prepare to write like that?
It was really weird. It's still weird. Like I'm on book 3 and it's still weird,
Right, book 3 of 3, so you're coming, you're sort of coming to the end.
Yeah, I'm coming to the head of it. Every day I have to sit down and sort of force myself into Adelina's mindset, which basically involves just me I have to listen to music when I write. So I have a dark playlist or like an evil playlist that I put on.
I was wondering about that. I was going to ask that.
Yeah, I have to put that on in order to get into her mindset. So every morning before I start writing, I just put on my headphones and I close my eyes and I just blast that playlist for 15 minutes or whatever until I finally feel like I'm in an evil enough state of mind to write about her.
I'm feeling evil.
I'm feeling evil. Let's do this.
Marie Lu wakes up, listens to dark music until she can get to work.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm evil now. Let's go.
How has your writing process and just the routine of working every day changed since you started writing Legend?
It's shifted a little bit, mostly because of what the writing career involves. I'm more used to writing on the road now. I used to not be able to do that at all. I used to be very, very strict about the fact that I'm like a morning person, I'm a morning writer. I can only work from around 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and that's all I can do.
You sort of have to be more flexible.
And now I have to be more flexible. So I've gotten pretty good at working on planes. I really actually love working on trains. That was like a surprise for me. I still do my best work when I'm at home, like in my office.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I do okay when I'm on the road now. At least I can get something done.
So without spoilers for readers of The Young Elites, what can we expect from the Rose Society because it comes out today?
Right. Let's see. What can I tell people? Well, the Rose Society is much darker than the Young Elites. And that's really saying something because I thought the Young Elites was about as dark as I could get, but the Rose Society is by far the darkest book I've ever written. It almost killed me to write this book because it was so hard.
Like intense screamo music in the playlist.
Oh yeah. It had some Marilyn Manson on my playlist. I had some, which is I never listened to except for now apparently.
The sacrifices we make for our work.
The sacrifices we make for our work. You know, my eardrums probably went down a decibel. It's definitely darker. The second book is all about Adelina getting revenge on everyone who has wronged her The first book was basically everyone betraying Adelina in some way or other, or at least from her perspective. Here, she's kind of getting that power back for herself and finding a way to rise to power. So the second book is all about her really coming into her own as a villain. So there's a lot more of that. There is definitely some more romance involved. Maybe I won't say between who, but there are some new characters. So we will see what happens.
We will
there.
see.
Yeah, so there's some returning characters as well.
Okay.
Which I will not elaborate on, but some characters are returning.
I'm curious as to what your inspiration is for this setting.
I find myself thinking in a game sense constantly when I'm writing. So, for example, in Legend, the Skiz duels were totally inspired by Street Fighter. Like when I was writing those scenes, I could literally see Street Fighter in my head with like the the life bars and everything.
Yeah.
So, and then with the Young Elites, I was inspired. The setting was actually inspired by Assassin's Creed, the game franchise.
Oh.
Yeah, the second Assassin's Creed is set in Renaissance era Italy. And so I was happened to be playing those games at the time, and I was looking for like a good time period to set this story in, and it just clicked with me. I thought it would really work well for a story where young people come out of the plague with superpowers. And so I was like, oh, that time period is perfect. And it's also just a really beautiful time period, visually,
Yes.
So, so that was the original inspiration for the setting.
That's awesome. What's the best part about your job? Now that,
Best part.
it's been a minute, Legend is done, you're on your second series. What's the best part?
There are so many good things. It's really, really nice to have a job where you actually love what you're doing. Even on the hard days,
Right.
I will pinch myself and I'm like, I can't believe I get to make stuff up for a living and people pay me for that. Like that is just amazing to me. I love being in my bathrobe working in my house, which is kind of amazing. I'm just like a total walking stereotype of a writer, like answering the door and the postman sees your crazy hair and you're like, hey, Yeah, it's exactly what all the movies say it looks like,
Yes.
with your mug. Yeah, it's exactly what it looks like. So that's awesome. And meeting readers is always awesome. I love, love, love seeing readers because we're always stuck in this like cave. It's a strange job because you're either like 100% introvert or you're 100% extrovert. There's like no in between, And so it's really nice to get out of the cave sometimes and actually see that, oh, there's like other people on the other end.
You don't
of what
always
I'm
realize
writing.
how many lives you're touching.
Or just like, and it's very, very gratifying to meet people who are actually like reading the words that I'm writing, because sometimes it feels like I'm just like writing into the void,
Yes.
until I actually get to see people one-on-one.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
The Rose Society comes out today, sequel to The Young Elites, and also the Legend trilogy. This is the original cover. Like, this
original
is
cover.
no longer available.
It's not.
This
I
is
love that you have the original cover.
Pre-glammed Legend.
Pre-glam Legend, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being
Thank
here. It
you.
means a lot to me.
It's so good to see you again.
Right?
After,
Since 2012.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time, and have a good one. Bye.